garden, I mean, and to work it and take care of it. So then I was like, so then was he not there when?
Was the garden?
So then it's kind of like, was he not there? Was he not created?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
So.
Like, if I put him in the Garden of Eden, do like put him in that spot, but then make all the trees?
Because he put him in the garden already, so he must have been made
in the garden.
separate from when he made that. But
the garden in like the English sense, and that like here is your backyard.
yeah,
You put him in like that location,
That kind of a-
and
yeah.
then put the plants there.
possible. The only way that we can tell, I mean, the only thing we can follow is following the order of things. We can see when he was created. And then I put to discuss what it may have been like to spend time with God in the garden. That's number 10. Oh, that's right.
We're on.
That's what we're on. Yeah. So, my thing slid down. So yes, speculation will be done here. That's what I wrote. Because, okay, he spent time with God in the garden. And so we know that the garden was already complete when he put him in it. Or at least we think so, because he put him in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he made him from the dirt. So, my garden over here, there is dirt where nothing's growing. And I assume that it was dirt, he made man, and he made a garden for him to go in.
But like you still call that the garden.
I do, I still call it the garden. So it's possible that the garden was already there and he was made in it. But then he wouldn't have put him into the garden.
Well, if I put you in that garden, and then the plants grow around you, so put you in the garden.
Okay, so I'm going to read what it says here, okay? Because this is pretty interesting. All right, it says, I'm going to start with 9. It says, as created, man was able to enjoy pleasant sights, something that would later become corrupted by sin and give rise to lust. Also, there's a notation of 1 John 2:16 there. Eden was an extraordinarily appointed garden, with choice specimens of the finest trees and plants. 2 trees of very, like she read about, the 2 trees. And the importance were also there. Alright, so, in 10 says, God provided a grand river in order to water the garden with great care. He prepared the habitation of his people. The names of those 4 rivers: Pison, Gihon. Daniel could probably tell me exactly how to say Hiddekel, and Euphrates. Relate to later rivers that were known to the first readers of the text. These later rivers likely would only approximate the location of the original ones. So it's funny to read that little bit there. So anyway, God created all these things, but then he had the special ones. So chances are the garden was created before. Yeah.
But like the location was
Well, he created the whole earth and he did all the plants. And then on the 6th day is when he created man, and he had already created all the earth, so he had to have created.
Are you saying God doesn't create things anymore?
No, I'm just saying, of course he creates things
Then
now,
he
but I mean
creates things
the
after 7 days.
original creation, smarty
Yeah.
pants.
But that doesn't
So,
mean that he couldn't
when
create
he
something
originally-
on the 8th day.
Well, he originally created the earth and the vegetation before man. And he placed man in the garden after he created it. He said, "Oh, over here, you're going in that garden." And I don't really know whether God, took his hand and picked him up like in the cartoons and placed him there, but that's what I see in my head when he placed him in the garden. So, this is good discussion. You have good, smart things, both of you. Okay, so number 11. Didn't know I could slide that under there when I did it a long time ago. What's the question? Oh, why do you think God chose to make rules for living in the garden? And what were or was his rule or rules?
Not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good or good and evil. That was the only rule.
That was the only rule. It's the only thing he couldn't do. Could he eat anything else they wanted? It's not that. My little notation is rules are to bring or keep order. No doubt he had high hopes, but since he tested them and they failed, he had a plan. It was not spur of the moment results for the punishment, and they were even told ahead of time. Truth is, they did die eventually. So it was true that they would die. So God kept his word. Rule: do not eat one of the. Okay, you just discussed which the rule was. It's pretty easy to follow, if you would think. It shows that even in the beginning, man was weak to temptation, and we still are because cake calls to us. It's like,
Evil, but okay.
when we're not supposed to eat it, then it is. It's not evil, but it's tempting. Sometimes it's tempting to eat the whole cake. Temptation is something that looks good,
Yes.
and you think it's going to be a great thing.
However, cake is not evil.
No, it isn't.
There's nothing morally wrong with eating cake.
This is true.
So I would argue
That is not.
that's not what temptation
Yeah.
is.
Okay. The temptation is to disobey your own rule for yourself not to eat it. That would be.
There's no reason
You don't have it, so that's fine.
then just don't.
Okay, so in these little notes that I gave you guys, it goes from creation onward, and it's commentaries from a few different ones on from Daniel Hyde from Ligonier Ministries is a big chunk of it, and it just really was very interesting. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing. That's for you to take home.
Okay. Cool.
Read at your own time, you know. So next week we'll start with number 12, and because it's we're 5 minutes to 7. We're pretty good on time for
Nice.
such a push. So yeah, we'll start with number 12 next week, and he was chilling, but he needed something to do. He was bored. God said it was
Not your
not.
personal problem.
Okay, God said it's not good. She did 12, so we could actually do 12. God said it is not good for man to be alone, and so he made him a helpmeet.
Doesn't mean he was bored.
He's probably sad though. Something wasn't right, because otherwise it would have
I
been
think the
good.
word you're looking for is lonely. but
Lonely,
okay.
yes. He was probably lonely. Yeah. Okay,
Just
God's
bored.
busy. God's busy doing all this
Gosh.
creation stuff.
I don't
What
have
am I
any
gonna do?
friends, I'm so bored.
Yeah. Animals all run away from me. Nobody will play football with me or baseball. Tell me a story. God, tell me a story.
It's more like one of those things where like your toddler's like, hi, but mom, tell me a story, and you're just like, okay, you need a friend.
All right, I am ending the meeting right on time. Nobody came in.
And like
but
the
it's
last
in.
word of that was, okay, you need a friend.
Now, we need to pray for Diana Fanuc. She, the smoke got to her in her throat. You know how that happens. So I told her we pray for her and her dad. It was bothering her dad too. He's kind of old. So, because like she's around a little bit older than me, very little, like 1 year or something like that. So her dad's older than that.
Yeah.
So, so I told her we would pray for him too. And I think that's all. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me close because I don't want that being filmed. Okay. All right. So, does anybody else want to pray?
I mean, I can pray. Dear God, I just thank you for this time we get to spend together and learn about your word, God. I pray, God, for others that were not able to make it, that they can watch this on YouTube and that they grow from it like we did. And I pray, God, for Diana and her father who were affected by the smoke, that you heal them, that they completely feel a lot better and are able to recuperate and jump back real fast. And I pray, God, that you just have a good rest of our evening and week. In Jesus' name,
Amen. Okay. Food. Shut this down. Oh, oops, I just closed my nose over here. It doesn't like to close without that. Yeah, I have a cool sticker. I'll show you.
Nice.
So you guys can see it too. Okay. Nope, that one's mine. Yours is by the front door. But I knew you didn't have it with you, so I brought it. Because I had to clean the table and it was sitting on the table and I thought, well, this is the safest spot. I can put it on the stand by the door. So, all right. Did you guys get food?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm gonna have a little bit.
Oh, no, you can have
I had
some. I'm
You
good.
can have some, yes. I'm using my fingers. Look, I'm using my fingers because inside the olives is my fork. All right.
I would now like to eat the rest of the olives.
I'll
Oh,
let you do
something.
that.
This is going back to like the study real quick, but I just thought of this again.
Going back to the study.
Yeah, no, because I thought it
good.
was like really funny. So when I was a little kid, you know how it says like God breathed air or like breathed life into Adam?
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was a kid, I would like draw and then I'd like thought that if I breathed into it, like it would
It would
come to
life.
life.
Oh, that's so cute.
It didn't happen, but I did it a few times when I was little.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying that it didn't happen.
Just in case you're wondering.
Hey, you know, maybe you're gifted.
It didn't happen, but you know.
It wasn't.
Like,
You
oh,
didn't
good,
draw
I
a
thought it
picture of
would.
Lazarus.
No.
On a sad note, I wished I could do that.
I
At
know.
one time when somebody that I loved died.
Mm.
But I could not because I am not God.
Yeah. It'd be crazy if you could. My eyes have been burning all day. I don't know why.
Because the smoke from
I
yesterday.
think so. Cause
'Cause
like,
today it's not so bad.
yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know, but I did have my window open, so maybe that's why. But yeah, like every once in a while, the smoke will like get to me. I haven't had any headaches, which is good, but like my eyes will just start burning.
Mm.
I like that. But,
We're going to be a host for Leap here.
oh,
We're
awesome!
going to put lights up.
Ooh.
And then, weather permitting, if it's chill enough, we'll put fire.
Yay!
Because it's a protected one.
Yeah.
And if it's chill enough, then we'll be able to do that. But if it's not, then I'm going to put lights in that. And the battery operated one, so it looks like there's a fire there. Just for ambiance. So yeah, so I'll have the different tables set up and stuff. It's really cool because they're going to provide the little goodie bags and stuff. So we
Oh,
get
there's goodie bags?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Always goodie bags when you go to a conference.
Dang.
So yeah, and it's going to be. John's going to set his TV up out here, so we're going to have a big TV out here,
Nice.
so we can have our conference out outside.
Oh,
Someplace other
that's
than in
so
the house.
cool. Yeah.
That was a big broccoli. This is going to take a while.
Awesome.
That was supposed to stop.